we get started today, how about some words of wisdom from my favorite doctor and yours, Anthony Fraudstey?
How should vaccinated and boosted people behave? Can they go into a restaurant, eat safely indoors right now?
Oh, good. Somebody's going to finally tell me how to behave. I wonder if I should touch it. I wonder what would happen if I...
How should vaccinated and boosted people behave?
You know, when you're having such a, I call it a tsunami of infections, Dana, we are seeing people who are and who are getting breakthrough. So when you're in a situation where you have so many infections going out, the thing that you want to say is that if you want to do things like that, better do them in a setting where you know the people around you are vaccinated and boosted.
While you let those nuggets of wisdom seep into the back of your brain, let's go ahead and roll the intro.
Hey guys, before I get into today's video, here's a shout out for this video's sponsor. When the shit hits the fan and the power goes out, one of the things you're going to need is an ultra bright flashlight and a power bank to charge your devices. This is the Indoor Outdoor Light Bug Work Light. It's got a solar panel to turn sunlight into storable, usable energy, or you can charge it with a regular wall outlet. The adjustable bracket allows you to hang it, hold it in your hand, or get the perfect light angle on a table. It comes in handy for car repair, fishing, hunting, and camping. And check this out. I fully charged this thing, turned it on, and left it on the counter, and it shined for over 5 hours. Grab a couple of them for family and friends. Your link is in the description. So when you've got Malone coming along and McCullough coming along on the Joe Rogan podcast talking about the reality of mass formation psychosis, all you got to do is look out your window. All you got to do is take a trip to the grocery store, go to the bank, go somewhere in your neighborhood, and you see the result of 24 hours a day, 7 day a week propaganda from fake stream, mainstream, CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media, and you can see the result of mass formation psychosis where people are hypnotized, paralyzed by fear. Oh my God, something's going to get into my lung tissue. I was never worried about it before. I was never worried about things that were more deadly and more virulent and more seemingly contagious, like tuberculosis. What's that? The 15% case fatality rate. We're literally talking about, this is from their own documents, the government's own documents. You're talking about a 0.0037% case fatality rate, as opposed to what's always been with us, tuberculosis, 15% case fatality rate, or you've got Ebola, which is a 25 to 90% case fatality rate. But now, all of a sudden, now you're going to wear the ritualistic shame muzzles. Now you're going to employ social distancing. Now you're going to listen to the government authorities. Why? Because it's a mass formation psychosis. You're just doing what you're told. There's no rhyme or reason for it. You're just going to fall in line and jump off the cliff like all the other lemmings who were really thrown off by the producer for White Wilderness and the Disney production. But you're going to be that lemming that just follows what the other people are doing because they're doing it, because it's comfortable, it's convenient. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make waves. You don't want to look like the black sheep of the family. Hey, I completely get it. But let me ask you a question. Do you want freedom? If you want freedom, you got to work for it, because freedom has a cost. And that cost, according to Jefferson and the other founding fathers, is eternal vigilance. And indifference to this notion, what notion? That it takes eternal vigilance, that there's a cost to freedom, is the means by which the people have and will secure their own demise, their own slavery, their own oppression. And that's what's going on right now. So that's what you see in the mass formation psychosis. So when we talk about, this right here, where YouTube scraps Joe Rogan's podcast episode over NAZI Germany comparison, the question is it accurate or isn't it? I don't know why it keeps glitching on my screen like this. Is that comparison accurate or isn't it accurate? And to what extent, on what level is it accurate if it is accurate? If it isn't accurate, tell us how it's not accurate. Because the way I see it, when somebody's making that kind of comparison, I don't care who it is, when somebody's making that kind of comparison, why are they making that comparison? Why are they saying this? I don't know. I don't know what the heck is glitching on my computer screen. I don't know why it's doing that. That's kind of weird. Is it doing that on everything? It's only doing that on this New York Post site. So to what extent is Malone describing what's going on now like what happened in 1930s Germany? In the way of removing freedoms. Period. Are you for freedom or are you against it? Let me refresh your memory. One of the founding fathers said, he asked the question, is life so dear or is peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Is life so dear or peace so sweet so as to be purchased at the cost and price of chains and slavery? You have to answer that question for yourself. I can't answer it for you. But if you're for freedom, you have to be, by very nature, against every form and every shade and every level of tyranny, no matter why the tyranny was perpetrated on us, because it's always for some justifiable reason, right? It's always because it's necessary. But like William Pitt the Younger said, necessity will always be the plea for every infringement of human freedoms. It's the argument of tyrants because they gain from it, and it's the creed of slaves because they think they gain from it because they're trusting their tyrant overlords, which is something that history teaches you should never do. So are you for freedom? If you're for freedom, then you are against tyranny, every shade of it, every form of it, every level of it. If I'm wrong, let me know. Because, people are constantly, you're just a shill, Brian. You're a gatekeeper. Who am I gatekeeping for? I constantly tell people it's not a good idea to check yourself into the cult of personality. Don't check into my cult of personality. Don't check into Ethan Klein or Joe Rogan or Dr. Robert Malone or Andrew Kaufman or Tom Cowan or CNN or Fox News or the left paradigm or the right paradigm. Don't check yourself into that cult of personality. It will keep you out of trouble. Almost every single time. There are other pitfalls in life. You definitely don't need to dig that pitfall for yourself. Stay out of the cult of personality. Then you can decipher and disseminate and distinguish between what's true and what's not true. That's the only way you can do it. Because if you're in the cult of personality, you're automatically going to suspend your critical thinking so you can defend that personality. And what ends up suffering? The truth. The truth ends up suffering in your life. And if the truth suffers in your life, remember the first casualty in any war, including the information war where we actually lose our freedoms during war, is truth. That's the first casualty in any war. That's why truth is and always will be in every generation the new hate speech. Oh my God, he's speaking the truth. We need to come out against him. We need to censor him, although they claim that your truth is actually lies, that your truth is misinformation. That because you've gone against the narrative, you need to be eliminated. You need to be censored. Your tongue needs to be cut off. And by extension, everybody who wants to hear what you have to say, their ears need to be cut off. This suspending critical thinking is not a good idea. It's detrimental and it's destructive to not only your freedom, not only to your way of life, but your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren and all your posterity will suffer for you and me taking the back seat, taking the road of comfort and ease, relying on convenience and go, that little erosion of my truth, I can live without that. And then I can live without this, and then I can live without that. And then it's that tiny, your freedom is cut by 1,000 tiny, almost imperceptible reductions until past the time at which those changes are irreversible. That's why it's so freaking important to be in the truth. That's why it's so freaking important to sit back and go, you know what? I'm asserting this right here as truth, but I also maintain the right of posture of correction. I'm not perfect. If I'm wrong on something, if you measure me by the plumb line of truth and I fall short, then it's incumbent on me. It's my responsibility. It's my duty to come back in line with that plumb line. So is life so dear? Is peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? And then he finishes out, I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death. And that's where we have to be. And when you're in that place, you're not in the cult of personality. While we have time and it still retains some of its perceived value, maybe it'd be a good idea to convert your worthless fiat into valuable, storable food. Don't be the one who waits till the food riots start happening. You don't want to be fighting panicking people in the store over that last jar of peanut butter. At Prepare with High Impact Flicks, you can get up to 3 air and watertight gasket-sealed ammo cans, each filled with a 4-week emergency supply. 7 food varieties, 2,000 calories a day, 284 servings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and each meal comes in a resealable, heavy-duty 4-layered pouch. And it's got a 25-year shelf life. Every order of a 4-week supply gets you $100 off plus free shipping. Here's how simple it is to make. I'm going to cook up some Granny's home-style potato soup. People are going to think I'm a culinary hero. You open the pouch, boil 4.5 cups of water, stir the contents, simmer on low heat for 15 to 20 minutes, take it off the heat, then let it set for 2 to 3 minutes before you serve it up.
Man, this stuff's so good. People are going to think Granny stopped by and filled your kitchen with a whole bunch of love.
Well, if Granny does stop by, she's going to fill your behind with a whole bunch of buckshot if you keep talking with your mouth full. Wipe your dang beard off. It's embarrassing. So maybe convert some of your worthless fiat into valuable food while you still can. Order now and get $100 off of up to 3 4-week emergency food supplies at preparewithhighimpactflix.com. The link is in the description.